When you're trying to make ends meet, it's important to get the best price and quality for the protein on your plate.
50,000 Aussies have now been surveyed to find out which supermarkets are selling the best options.
69% of ALDI's products were priced under $5 when the supermarket fired its latest shot in Australia's grocery war. While families were being warned that food costs could climb again, ALDI started permanently cutting prices on everyday products. Not member prices, not a 3-day special, not points you have to collect. Real reductions. That sounds simple until you see what the other supermarkets have trained Australians to accept. Today, we are following the receipts, testing the baskets, and uncovering what ALDI is really doing differently. One move near the end changes the entire supermarket game. Let's get into it. Number 8. The price cuts. That actually stay. A red supermarket ticket usually comes with a catch. Maybe the price lasts 1 week, maybe you need an app, maybe you need a membership card. Maybe the product returns to its normal price before you remember what normal even was. ALDI has taken a different approach. In February 2026, ALDI attracted attention after announcing another round of reductions across everyday products, including foods such as ham, bacon, yogurt, and children's biscuits. The headline number was hard to ignore. ALDI said 69% of its products were priced below $5. Around 85% of its cleaning range and 70% of its baby range were also below that mark. Here is the important word: permanent. ALDI calls the program ALDIA. Ignore the strange name and look at what it means. ALDI says an ALDIA price is an existing everyday price that has been permanently reduced. Its website tells customers to keep checking because it intends to reduce prices on more products throughout the year. That is very different from teaching customers to chase weekly promotions. You can test the difference yourself. Take a product you regularly buy and photograph its shelf ticket after a permanent reduction. Return several weeks later. If the price remains lower, that reduction is doing something a 1-week special cannot do. It changes the starting price of your regular shop. That does not mean ALDI never raises prices. It absolutely does. Australian ALDI shoppers complained online in July 2026 about noticeable increases on staples including meat and yogurt. Grocery inflation and supplier costs affect ALDI too. That actually makes the permanent reductions more interesting. ALDI is not claiming every product only moves downward. It is saying that when it can reduce certain everyday prices, the lower number becomes the normal number rather than a temporary event. That sounds almost boring. In supermarket pricing, boring can be powerful. Customers should not need a calendar to know what groceries really cost. Permanent price cuts are one thing. The next move is even more unusual because ALDI gives those lower prices to everyone without forcing shoppers into a loyalty club first. Number 7. No loyalty card required. Think about how strange supermarket shopping has become. 2 people can stand beside the same shelf, buy the same product on the same day, and see different value depending on whether one of them belongs to the supermarket's loyalty program. Australia has become used to it. Scan the card, open the app, activate an offer, collect points, wait for a reward. Remember which supermarket has which account. ALDI has largely refused to play that game. There is no traditional ALDI Australia loyalty program giving members special grocery prices while everyone else pays more. The shelf price is the shelf price. That matters more than it sounds. The ACCC's 2025 Supermarkets Inquiry examined loyalty programs and promotional practices across the grocery sector. Australia's supermarket pricing system had become complicated enough that the regulator raised serious concerns about whether consumers could easily judge value. ALDI's model removes one layer of that calculation. Here is the proof test. Next time you see a loyalty-only supermarket discount, ignore the giant discounted number for a moment. Find the regular price, then compare the unit price with the equivalent product somewhere else. If a 1 kilogram product is $12 for members but $15 normally, compare the $12 per kilogram figure with the competitor's everyday unit price. That is the comparison that matters. The word member does not make $12 cheap. It only makes it cheaper than $15. This is where supermarket psychology becomes clever. A large discount gap can make shoppers feel they have won something. ALDI's strategy is almost the opposite. It wants the customer to believe the price was already stripped down before they arrived. Why? Its entire brand depends on simplicity. The moment ALDI says, "This yogurt is cheaper, but only if you scan this membership," the low price promise becomes harder to explain. That does not automatically make every ALDI product cheaper. Never assume that. It means you can compare the actual price without first asking which version of the price applies to you. If you have ever stood at a supermarket shelf wondering whether the special is really a special, hit the like button. That small click tells us you want more breakdowns that separate real savings from supermarket theatre. Removing loyalty games makes prices easier to read. The next move makes the comparison more uncomfortable. Independent shoppers were sent into more than 100 Australian supermarkets with the same mission. The receipts did not favour the giants. Number 6. The basket test Coles and Woolworths lost. Forget the advertisements for a moment. Take a basket, put comparable groceries inside it, then pay. That is essentially what Consumer Group Choice has been doing through its government-funded supermarket price monitoring. In its March 2026 fieldwork, Choice priced groceries at 104 supermarkets across 27 Australian locations. The full basket contained 16 products, including 7 fresh foods and 9 packaged items. No loyalty point calculations. No emotional advertising. Just the basket price without specials. ALDI came in at $68.80 in Choice's published comparison. Woolworths cost $77.53. Coles cost $78.58. IGA reached $91.65. Even allowing for the differences in available brands, that gap is difficult to ignore. Compared with Woolworths, the ALDI basket was about $8.73 cheaper. Against Coles, it was about $9.78 cheaper. Against IGA, the difference was more than $22. Choice carefully selected products based on similar pack sizes and ingredients. But its ALDI basket contained only one name brand product. The Coles and Woolworths baskets contained 3. That difference matters. It also reveals the whole ALDI strategy. Instead of asking shoppers to pay the brand premium across thousands of familiar labels, ALDI fills most of its shelves with exclusive or private label products. Try the test yourself. Choose 5 staples you buy every week. Do not compare packet prices. Compare unit prices. Milk by the litre, rice by the kilogram, cheese by the kilogram, dishwashing liquid by the litre, toilet paper by the sheet or equivalent unit shown on the label. The ACCC specifically recommends unit pricing because package sizes can make a cheaper looking product more expensive once quantity is considered. That little number on the shelf can destroy a supermarket bargain in seconds. Choice's basket matters because it strips away some of the noise. ALDI did not need a temporary special to win that comparison. The survey compared ordinary prices. That is the uncomfortable part for competitors. A supermarket can offer hundreds of weekly specials and still lose the full basket test. Customers do not eat specials. They eat everything else in the trolley too. That cheaper basket comes with a catch. ALDI deliberately gives shoppers far fewer choices than Coles or Woolworths, and the next section shows why having less on the shelf may actually be one of its biggest price advantages. Number 5. ALDI makes less choice. Work harder. More choice feels like better service. Walk into a giant supermarket and you might find several brands of pasta sauce, dozens of cereals, endless snack flavors, multiple pack sizes, and an entire wall devoted to products doing almost the same job. ALDI asks a dangerous question. What if you do not need most of them? Its limited range model is one of the secrets hiding behind the checkout total. A traditional full-line supermarket may carry many competing versions of the same product. ALDI concentrates sales into a much smaller assortment. That changes the economics. Imagine 1,000 customers need tomato sauce. One supermarket spreads those customers across 10 similar options. Another offers only 2 or 3 serious choices. The second retailer can potentially order much larger quantities of each line. Bigger volume can strengthen buying efficiency. Fewer products also mean fewer shelf labels, fewer supplier relationships, less space, simpler replenishment, and less complexity inside each store. You can see part of the system without entering the office. Look at an ALDI shelf. Products are often displayed in the cartons they arrived in. Employees do not need to individually create an elaborate display for every packet. The box becomes part of the shelf. That looks basic because it is supposed to. Every unnecessary movement inside a supermarket eventually costs money. ALDI's model tries to remove movements customers do not need. There is a downside. Sometimes the exact product you want simply is not there. That has historically forced some ALDI customers to finish their shop at Coles or Woolworths. ALDI knows that weakness. In 2025, the chain announced it was adding around 250 products to its Australian range, including items such as naan bread, hot chili sauce, and almond powder. The goal was obvious: stop shoppers leaving ALDI to complete the trolley somewhere else. This is where following the money gets interesting. ALDI has said an average family can save thousands of dollars a year by shopping there. That is ALDI's own claim, so treat it as marketing rather than a universal guarantee. Your actual saving depends entirely on what you buy. Still, independent choice basket results repeatedly give the low price strategy credibility. The secret is not one magical cheap product. It is an operating model built around refusing costs that other supermarkets accept as normal. Fewer products only work if shoppers are willing to buy them. The next reveal is how ALDI turned home brands, once seen as the cheap second choice, into products that can compete directly with famous national labels. Number 4. The home brands stopped apologizing. Years ago, supermarket home brands had a reputation problem. The packaging looked cheap because the product often felt cheap. People bought them when money was tight, then returned to the famous label when they could afford it. ALDI helps scramble that hierarchy. Its model depends heavily on exclusive brands because removing the national brand middle layer gives the retailer far more control over product specification, supplier negotiations, packaging, and price. That sounds like corporate theory. The proof is in your kitchen. Run a blind test. Take an ALDI chocolate, biscuit, cereal, cheese, or pantry product and put it beside the national brand equivalent. Remove the packaging. Give both to somebody who does not know which is which. Ask 3 questions. Which tastes better? Which feels higher quality? Which would you buy if you knew the unit price? That test will not always favor ALDI. It should not. Some national brands genuinely produce a product people prefer. The point is that the logo cannot help once the wrapper disappears. That is precisely where ALDI has become dangerous to traditional supermarkets. If shoppers discover they enjoy a $3 exclusive brand product as much as a $5 famous one, the national brand has a problem that advertising alone cannot fix. The supermarket does too. Famous brands often bring shoppers through the door. ALDI built a business around teaching customers not to need them. Follow the money. National brands spend heavily on marketing, product launches, promotions, sales teams, and maintaining their identity. Those costs exist somewhere in the chain. Private label retailing changes that structure. ALDI can work directly with manufacturers to create products to its specifications and sell them under brands. Customers mainly associate with ALDI. This does not mean the manufacturer works for free. It means the commercial structure is different. ALDI does not need to give you points to make you return if the cheese, coffee, chocolate, or frozen product you love is only on its shelves. The product becomes the reward. This is why judging private label by ugly generic packaging from decades ago is a mistake. Modern supermarket-owned brands are fighting for the middle of the market, not merely the bargain basement. Subscribe now if you want more investigations into the supermarket moves that quietly change what Australians pay. The biggest ALDI move is still ahead, and it goes much further than home brand packaging. Strong home brands help ALDI keep shoppers in the store, but convenience was still a major weakness. The next move shows how ALDI finally started bringing one of its most famous store experiences straight to customers' doors. Number 3. Special buys. Left the store. ALDI shoppers know the ritual. Wednesday, Saturday, middle aisle, something you never planned to buy somehow enters the trolley. An air fryer, tools, school supplies, fitness gear, a television, snow clothing, furniture. ALDI's special buys are one of the strangest supermarket traffic machines in Australia. Scarcity is part of the attraction. Products arrive in limited quantities. Popular lines can disappear quickly, and customers have traditionally needed to visit a store if they wanted a serious chance of getting one. Then ALDI changed the rules. From January 2026, ALDI expanded its DoorDash partnership to include special buys. The rollout began in Victoria before extending to most participating ALDI stores nationally. That meant shoppers could order many of those famous limited-time products without physically hunting through the middle aisle. For ALDI, that is a bigger change than it looks. The company built its Australian identity around simple physical stores. Online grocery shopping was an area where Coles and Woolworths had a huge convenience advantage. ALDI resisted full-scale e-commerce for years because delivery adds costs. Picking individual orders adds labor. Technology adds complexity. Last-mile delivery is not free. Every layer fights the stripped-down model that keeps ALDI cheap. DoorDash gives ALDI another route. Instead of rebuilding its entire business around becoming an online supermarket, it can use an existing delivery network. There is still a catch. ALDI warns that some products can cost more through the delivery platform than they do in store, and not every oversized item is available. That means shoppers need another simple test. Open the app, find the product, then compare the delivered price with the shelf price before deciding convenience is free. Convenience has a unit price too. The bigger story is what ALDI is willing to change and what it refuses to change. It will experiment with delivery. It will add products. It will modernize stores. It will expand self-checkouts. Yet the company keeps protecting the low-cost structure underneath those changes. That discipline is what makes the next move more important. While competitors use promotions to make shoppers feel they are constantly winning, ALDI is betting that customers eventually get tired of playing the game. The evidence from Australia's supermarket crackdown explains why that bet matters. Number 2. ALDI refused the discount theatre. Here is a supermarket trick worth testing tonight. Find something advertised at a huge discount. Do not look at the sale price first. Look at the was price. Then ask how often anybody actually paid it. That question became central to Australia's supermarket debate. The ACCC took Coles and Woolworths to court over discount claims involving hundreds of products. In May 2026, the federal court found Coles had made misleading representations in relation to 13 of 14 down tickets considered in the liability hearing. The broader Coles proceedings concerned 245 products. The ACCC alleged prices had sometimes been increased for a relatively short period before products were promoted at a lower figure that could still be the same as or higher than the earlier regular price. That matters because a discount only means something when the starting point is meaningful. ALDI's everyday low price model relies much less heavily on that high-low promotional cycle. That does not mean ALDI never runs deals. Special buys are literally built around limited offers. Grocery prices can change. Clearance happens. The difference is the core promise. ALDI wants customers to believe they do not need to wait for the supermarket to grant them permission to buy cheaply. Follow the money and you see why supermarkets love specials. Promotions create urgency. Urgency creates traffic. A half-price sign can make customers switch brands, buy more than planned, or visit a particular supermarket that week. Loyalty programs can make the effect even stronger. The customer feels rewarded. The supermarket gets the sale and potentially more information about the shopper. ALDI sacrifices some of that theatre for a simpler message. Here is our price. Decide. That simplicity is not perfect. A Coles or Woolworths half-price promotion can absolutely beat ALDI on an individual product. Smart shoppers who carefully rotate between supermarkets can sometimes build an excellent basket from specials. The cost is time. You have to search, compare. Remember, travel. Open apps, watch catalogues, calculate unit prices. The cheapest possible trolley and the easiest cheap trolley are not always the same thing. ALDI's bet is that millions of Australians would rather remove some of that work. Now we reach the move that makes the title make sense. It shows how ALDI is not just freezing prices or putting products on special. It is permanently lowering the normal shelf price on everyday groceries. Number 1. ALDI started sending prices back down. This is what Australian shoppers had almost stopped expecting. A permanent lower price. Not because the product was about to expire. Not because you collected enough points. Not because the supermarket needed a dramatic catalogue cover. The normal price went down. ALDI's current ALDIA program openly promotes permanent reductions across products in its everyday range. That matters in 2026 because grocery inflation has not disappeared. Supplier costs still move. Meat, dairy, produce, freight, labour, energy and packaging can all push prices in the wrong direction. That makes any permanent reduction more meaningful because it is a decision to lower the baseline rather than decorate it with a temporary sticker. Here is the test that matters most. Forget which supermarket you personally prefer. Build your own basket of 10 staples. Write down the unit price of each product at ALDI, Coles and Woolworths. Do not use loyalty rewards. Do not count points as cash unless you genuinely redeem them. Separate temporary specials from everyday prices. Then repeat the test 1 month later. That tells you more than almost any advertisement. Choice effectively ran a much larger version of that experiment in March 2026. Its 16-item basket before specials came to $68.80 at ALDI, compared with $77.53 at Woolworths and $78.58 at Coles. That does not mean every item was cheaper. It does not mean every household should abandon its current supermarket. It means ALDI's claimed everyday value has independent evidence behind it. Now follow the money one final time. ALDI can permanently lower prices only if the economics underneath those prices allow it. That takes us back through everything the company deliberately does differently: fewer products, heavy use of exclusive brands, large volumes concentrated into fewer lines, shelf-ready cartons, simple stores, customers packing their own bags, trolley deposits, fast checkouts, no giant traditional loyalty machine, less dependence on constant grocery promotion cycles. Every little inconvenience Australians joke about has a financial purpose. The famous fast checkout is not merely an ALDI personality trait. Speed means productivity. The cartons on shelves are not unfinished merchandising. They reduce handling. The smaller range is not only about denying you 12 varieties of the same thing, it concentrates purchasing. Even making customers return their own trolley saves labour that another retailer may need to pay someone to perform. Multiply it across products, workers, deliveries, stores, and millions of transactions. Now it becomes the business model. That is what ALDI did. That feels so unusual in modern Australian grocery retail. It made less part of the product. Less choice, less promotional theatre, less loyalty complexity, less elaborate shelving, less service in places where customers can do something themselves. Then it tries to convert those missing costs into a lower checkout price. There is an important warning: do not turn ALDI into a hero. It is a multinational retailer trying to make money. Prices at ALDI rise when costs demand it. Shoppers have documented increases on some products during 2026. Not every ALDI item beats every Coles or Woolworths special. Its smaller range can be frustrating. Its special buys deliberately use scarcity. Delivery can cost more. Its model asks customers to trade convenience, choice, and sometimes time for price. That trade is exactly why the strategy deserves attention. ALDI is not proving groceries can magically become cheaper while every cost rises. It is challenging a different assumption. When costs fall, efficiency improves, or buying conditions change. Does the customer ever see the benefit? ALDI says yes, and its permanent price reductions are designed to make that visible. That creates pressure far beyond its own stores. If ALDI lowers an everyday price and shoppers move, Coles and Woolworths have to respond somehow. They can run stronger specials. They can freeze prices. They can improve private label value. They can accept a smaller price premium. Competition starts working where customers can actually feel it, at the checkout. That may be the most important part of this entire story. ALDI does not need every Australian to shop there to affect grocery prices. It needs enough people to be willing to switch. The threat of losing a weekly trolley can force a competitor to fight harder for it. That is why a permanent reduction on an ordinary supermarket shelf can matter more than the few cents printed on the ticket. It sends a message. The price can move down. The customer can move too. The standard. Before deciding any supermarket is genuinely cheap, use 3 markers. First, compare the everyday unit price, not the biggest discount sticker. Second, compare a full basket. One cheap milk or bread price tells you almost nothing about what happens when the trolley is full. Third, count the cost of getting the price. If it requires memberships, multiple trips, delivery fees, or buying more than you need, include that in your decision. For everyday value, ALDI currently sets a strong benchmark based on independent choice basket testing. Woolworths can still beat it on selected promotions, especially when half-price national brands match what you already buy. Coles can do the same, and its huge range may save you a second shopping trip. The smartest option may not be choosing one supermarket forever. Use ALDI as the baseline, then make competitors prove when they can beat it. The 30-second gut check. Before your next grocery shop, do 4 things. 1. Photograph the unit prices of 5 staples you buy every week. 2. Separate permanent prices from temporary specials and member-only deals. 3. Compare the full basket total, not the loudest discount sign. 4. Repeat the comparison next month. If a supermarket keeps telling you it is saving you money while your same basket keeps climbing faster than everyone else, believe the receipt. That is the only loyalty card your wallet needs. Thanks for watching. Which ALDI product saves you the most money, and which product do you still refuse to buy anywhere except Coles or Woolworths? Share this video with someone who still thinks every supermarket discount is automatically a bargain. Want to see more Aussie food prices and supermarket tricks customers are finally noticing? Click the video on the left and subscribe so you never miss what we uncover next. Eat smart, Australia.